Hello, everybody. This is my qualitative proposal, and it is called "What Engages Students in Writing." Let's hear from the students, and it's by me, Ahmed Abu Jamous. The introduction of this is fairly simple. The purpose of this research is to understand how to make college students more interested in writing by asking the students and their instructors about their opinions on this subject. And the reason that this is important is because writing is an important skill to have in higher education and future occupations. So it would benefit students and others to become interested in writing so that they don't fall behind and they can get that higher education and be good in their future occupation. The literature review of this covers like multiple different aspects of students' engagement in writing, like how to fix it, what causes it, and why writing is important. For example, I found two articles that talk about why students would dislike school, or not school, dislike writing. And this can be like a lack of confidence in their writing, which can make students disinterested, but also early experiences with standardized tests like the SOLs, because tests can be very stressful. And you know how like if something's stressful, you really don't want to like have much to do with it, like anything to do with it. And then there's another article that talks about how writing is very important for college students. And the reason that it is important for college students is because people in charge of who gets accepted for graduate school, like if you want to get your master's degree, want to see like your writing to see whether or not you actually learned anything from your undergraduate program or anything else. And one way to have a student's confident in writing increase is to have the teachers give them more positive reinforcement in their feedback, as these two articles talk about. And the timeline of these articles, they're very big. It's very big disparities in between these two articles, but they both kind of say the same thing. Because positive reinforcement allows the students to get more insight on what they could do right next time and what they did right this time. It also allows them to not feel as discouraged as they would if teachers just continually criticize their writing. I'm not saying that the criticism is bad per se, but like if a teacher just continually just only criticized the students in their paper and didn't actually tell them what they did right, then the student's not really going to know what they did right, and it's just going to kind of make them assume that what they're doing is wrong, and like they can't, and it'll make them feel like they can't write eventually. So to kind of fix that, you have to give them that positive reinforcement so they know what to do and they have better confidence in themselves in writing. And another way to help a student gain confidence in writing is for them to take some sort of class. For example, a self-regulated strategy development class can help the benefit of students because it will teach the participants to become more independent in the writing process while also teaching strategies for various assignments like essays and like research papers. And now we're on to the method section of this proposal. And the research design of this study is also very simple. The research design of this study is a narrative inquiry study because I will be conducting interviews to gather data about one particular subject, writing. This will work well for my study because I will be asking participants about their history, thoughts, ideas regarding writing and how to make it more appealing to students. And the reason I'm asking for the participants' histories is to see what kind of effect it would have on their response to the interview question. Like, for example, if I had a student who's like who's taking a bunch of writing classes, and I have a student who's not taking a bunch of writing classes, like is going for a different degree, like they're going for a science degree. I'm gonna ask them their opinions on writing, and maybe the science student will say, "Oh, I don't like it. Like I only really do it for school." But then the other guy says, like, "Yeah, I like writing. I do it a lot." Those two are probably going to have different opinions on what needs to be changed for writing instruction, and I'm very interested in looking in hearing that because I kind of want to get it from all perspectives, so I don't feel like I'm leaving anyone out. And the research question of this qualitative proposal is, how do students' different exposure to writing instruction change how they feel about it and how they believe it can be improved? Methods part two. The setting of this experiment will depend on whether COVID-19 is still a problem. If it is a problem, it's going to be all online and we'll probably communicate through Zoom and email. And if it isn't a problem, we're going to do it at George Mason University and use rooms that we'll make sure we don't interrupt with. Like, we're going to have like maybe a computer lab or an office, like just to make sure we don't interrupt anyone, like any of the actual teachers, like who are doing their job. And the participants of the study will include 20 George Mason University students, 10 men, 10 women. And of those 10 men and 10 women, 5 will be freshmen, 5 will be sophomores, 5 will be juniors, and 5 will be seniors. And I'm doing this for the sake of equality, like so I have like an equal amount of the different genders and different like age, like a different age range, no matter how small it is. So I can maybe they'll have a different opinion as well. And also 5 teachers, also employees at George Mason University. And the reason I have them is because I want to know like how different teachers who like teach different things, like one teaches English, one teaches like like one teaches like engineering. Like I want to know like how they feel about writing, how they feel it can like writing instruction can be improved. And also like the teachers in general, they'll probably have more of a different perspective on it than like students will. So that's also like something I want to pay attention to. And the participants will be recruited via an email after receiving permission from the instructors and the department heads. And the sampling method used in this qualitative study is a random sampling method because I want to make sure that I have students and teachers from a variety of disciplines so that I can get a variety of possible different opinions on writing instruction. Sorry about that. The procedure of this is fairly simple. If COVID is not a problem, I will visit George Mason University and visit the heads of various departments for permission to interview students and teachers. Once all the permissions have been given, I would have a week to interview the participants. The reason I have a week-long deadline is because I want to make sure I do not interrupt the lessons going on in their classes too much. And I will interview 5 people on Monday through Fridays, and I will use Saturday and Sunday to interview anyone that I was not able to during the weekdays. Like if one of the participants were sick, or like if one of the teachers had like a couple of meetings with students that they couldn't miss, like I would use the weekend to get my interviews with them. And if COVID-19 is still a problem, I would send emails to the teachers and the department heads and ask them if I could use their students for my study. I would also use Zoom for the one-on-one interviews with the participants. And the time of the schedules and week-long deadline will not change if COVID is still a problem. Like I'll still use the Monday through Friday to interview 5 people a day on Zoom, and then on the weekends I'll use Zoom to interview people I couldn't on Monday through Friday. Data collection. The interviews will be 30 minutes long for every person involved. I plan on having 5 one-on-one interviews every day from Monday to Friday as to not overwork my research team. The weekend will be spent doing interviews with any of the interviewees who are unavailable during Monday through Friday. The interviews will take place at the school in an unused room if COVID is still if COVID is not a problem. If COVID is still a problem, the interviews will take place on Zoom. Some of the sample questions will include: what are some of your previous experiences with writing? Do you enjoy writing as an extracurricular hobby? And how could schools change the way they teach writing to make you more interested? And here's some more method stuff. Data analysis. For this study, I am going to use an interview that will ask the students about their writing habits, why they would be disinterested in writing, and what they feel could make writing interesting for them and others. And now we get to the ethical considerations. I would have to make sure that the participants are aware that they have the right to leave the interview at any time, and there will be no penalty for this. Remind them that they are volunteering for this interview. The responses of this interview will be recorded but kept from anyone not involved in the study. For students who happen to be under the age of 18 years old, I will receive permission from their parents. And for anonymity's sake, the participant will have the option of renaming nameless. And methods part 8, the trustworthiness of this will be I'll have 3 methods to increase the trustworthiness of my study. One of them would be multiple investigators. Like I will contact several investigators that are unbiased and have nothing to do with this study to offer their own insight and advice on my data and my data collection. And my methods checking, my member checking. 1 week after the interview, I will contact the participants of these interviews to see if they 100% understood the intentions of the study and what was being asked of them. And multiple data sources. I am using multiple students and teachers for this study, and they will all be from different, and most of them will be from different disciplines, because I theorize that the students and the instructors can give me different perspectives on the writing instruction. Here are my references if you are interested in what I was talking about for my literature review. Most of these can be found on JSTOR. Actually, all of them can be found on JSTOR. On the JSTOR website, you just have to look up their titles if you're interested. And if you have any more questions about this, please don't hesitate to contact me via email or phone. Thank you very much, and I hope you learned something from this.